Hi everyone. So today I'm coming to you from my backyard and we're going to work just a little bit through the shoulder joint and the rotator cuff muscles. And when we're talking about this area of the body, we're really talking about 3 bones and 4 muscles. So the bones that we're going to be moving around in space using the muscles are the clavicle, which we're all familiar with, the humerus, which is the upper arm bone, and then the scapula or the shoulder blade on the back side of the body. And then the 4 muscles that we're working with are called the supraspinatus, which is more up here, the infraspinatus and the teres minor, which are on the back side of the shoulder blade, and then the subscapularis, which lines the inner border of the scapula. And we're going to really just move around that area of the body with various movements, creating strength and stability so that we can avoid some of those injuries that occur from either simple wear and tear, from just doing repetitive actions, like maybe you're an overhead sports athlete, a volleyball player, softball, baseball, or maybe your job requires you to do things repetitively overhead, like maybe you're a painter. So really important to keep this complex really not only mobile, but also stable. So let's begin with just kind of exploring some of that movement. And we'll start with simply depression, which is better than it sounds. So depression of the shoulder. So just press the shoulders down and we're going to feel the shoulder blades draw down and away from the ears. And I'll just turn sideways for you here so maybe you can see a little bit better. So press the shoulder blades down. This is depression. Elevate the shoulders up. This is elevation. And then protraction and retraction. So maybe take the hands out in front of you here so you can feel it just a little bit more. But protraction is where we're pushing, imagine pushing the ground away from you. Feel the shoulder blades move away from each other. And then retraction, where we're drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. And let's do that one more time. Protraction and retraction, really squeezing the skin between the shoulder blades. And then let's come to hands and knees, and we'll do this again from here, and we're really just going to work with protraction and retraction for the next few minutes. So from a table pose, knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. First, just press into the floor, press into the ground. Feel the shoulder blades move away from each other. Remember, this one is called protraction. And then retraction is where we melt the heart and allow the shoulder blades to glide towards each other. And the sliding and gliding of the shoulder blades is super important for the health of our shoulders. So let's do that a few more times, maybe even close the eyes and just tuning into how this feels for you. And if that feels challenging enough, feel free to just continue on right here, or if you'd like to take it up another level, walk your knees back in space and come into this sort of half plank position here. So now we're adding a little bit of load, so creating some strength, and same movements, very small movements here. So protraction, press the floor away from you, feel the shoulder blades move away from each other. Retraction, melt the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Let's do that a few more times. Again, maybe close the eyes and just feel that movement around the joints. Maybe feel a little shaking as the muscles start to fatigue. And this strength building will really allow us to have a sense of controlled mobility that will keep us safe and healthy for many years to come. Good. And now if you'd like to take it up even one more level here, tuck the toes, lift the knees, come up into a plank position. And then the same movement, so retraction, shoulder blades draw towards each other. Protraction, push the ground away from you, shoulder blades move away. Let's do that just 2 more times. Retraction, protraction. Go ahead and melt the heart down. And press the ground away from you. And now drop the knees, take a little rest, sink the hips back towards the heels. Child's pose, relax the head down. Let's get a little stretch for the shoulders. So lifting the head let's take the right hand and we're just going to slide that right hand underneath the left arm there, threading the needle and feeling that nice stretch for the shoulder blades. That left arm can stay out in front of you if you'd like. You could also wrap it behind your back, maybe looking for the crease of your right hip if you choose. Let's take just 2 more breaths here. Good. And other side, so slide right arm forward, left arm underneath right, threading the needle, and just really dropping the upper arm on that left side down, maybe even pressing it into the mat. Good. And now release. Coming up to hands and knees, and we'll take this, one of my favorite stretches is called puppy pose. So for this one, we're going to keep the knees stacked right over top of the hips and just walk the arms forward. So keeping hips stacked over knees, not knees stacked over hips. Stretch the arms forward and relax the heart down, drop the head to the mat, and then bring your elbows in. See if you can bring the hands behind the head. You might need to walk the elbows in just a little bit more there. And then just really melting into this one, opening up the pecs, maybe feeling a stretch in the delts. Allow yourself to settle into this one for a few breaths. Get a little bit more into the side, maybe the whole side seam of the body here. We're going to take a side puppy, so walk your elbows over to the left just a few inches until you feel that nice stretch in that right side. Intensify and breathe. How about 3 more breaths? And this is one that you can linger in really as long as you like. It feels really good. And then let's walk the elbows to the other side. Maybe it's even just an inch or so. And sink the hips back just a tad until you feel that nice stretch now in the left side body, in the left shoulder. And steady the breath. One more breath here. And slowly come back to center and just press your way up to seated. So in just a moment, we're going to be lying on our backs and we're going to take a pose called Gomukhasana, which a lot of you are familiar with, but we're just going to be doing the upper portion of that pose. So our arms will look like this. Once we get down to the mat, our arms are going to end up looking just like that. So for now, before we get into that though, just place your hands on your shoulders and let's find some big movements around the shoulder joint. So just rotating the elbows forward, finding some big circles. And then backwards. Good. Good, and now let's go ahead and lay down. So we'll start with laying on, start with laying on our left side, just so you guys can get a better visual. So we'll be laying on our left side here and resting our right hand just right on our right hip for just a moment. Relax the right shoulder. And then take that right hand and place it palm out on the small of your back. And if this feels like a lot, if this rotation feels like a lot for your shoulder, you don't need to go any further than this. But if you have the space, begin to walk that hand any amount up the center of your back. And then we're going to roll onto our backs. So now our palm is facing the mat. Left arm's going to swim up and overhead. Lift your head, tuck the chin, and then lay the head right back down on the arm. anything with the legs at all. So if you'd like to, you can certainly just keep the knees bent just as they are. You could walk the feet together and let the knees fall out wide if you'd like a little bit of a hip stretch here. Maybe constructive rest, feet out, knees in. Whatever you think would feel good to you here. See if you can just relax the weight of the torso into the arm. And starting to observe the breath. Relax the ribs. And just letting gravity do the job for us here. And taking 5 more breaths. Last breath. And release the hand from underneath the head. Slowly roll back onto your side. Relax that right arm for just a moment. Notice all the sensation in the right shoulder. And then let's do the other side. So rolling over onto your right side now. Place your left hand just on your hip, just so you can kind of notice here what's going on in that left shoulder. And then taking your left hand, the back of your hand, to the small of your back. Maybe starting to work it up the center of your spine if you have the space. And then rolling over onto your back. And feel free to adjust that hand once you get there. If it's too much, just take it down a little bit. And again, we'll stretch our right arm overhead and just create this cradle for the head to rest in. Anything you'd like to do with the legs. A lot of us, this internal rotation, which is what that left arm right now is doing, can be pretty tough. So remember, baby steps. You can do this video over and over again. There's no need to get into the deepest version of the pose today. Even if you're feeling just a little extra tugging here, you want to come out of the pose just a little bit. We want nothing sharp, nothing acute, no pain, just this nice relaxing sensation of stretch for about 5 more breaths. Relax through the ribs. Just rolling over onto your right side now. Taking a moment, letting that left arm just rest. Noticing any of the sensations that you feel here. And then slowly now we'll press our way up to seated. And so that was just a few of the things that we could do, of the many things that we could do for strength and stability, flexibility, mobility of the rotator cuff muscles in this just general area of the shoulder and the glenohumeral joint. So watch for more videos coming up soon. We're going to be focusing a lot on the shoulder in the coming weeks. And thank you so much for watching today. Namaste.